Hey guys, I'm Ari Henning, Motorcyclist Magazine Road Test Editor. I'm here with Zach Kortz, one of our test riders, and we're back at Chuckwalla Valley Raceway for part 2 of our class of 2012.
That's right. Part 1, of course, was Japanese leader bikes, and now we've moved on to the best from Europe, which in this case is a pretty tantalizing mix.
Yeah, these are some pretty exquisite machines. These are literally the most sophisticated sport bikes money can buy. We've got Aprilia's factory RSV4, which is our 2-time reigning champ, back and going up against some pretty significantly updated competition.
And then there's MV Agusta's F4R, which is essentially same chassis as it's been with an updated short-stroke motor.
Yep. And BMW's got more aggressive chassis geometry and then also less restrictive electronics package. And then of course there's the Ducati.
Right. Highly anticipated Ducati Panigale, frameless design, crazy electronics, and looking forward to riding it around.
Yeah, they're all pretty outstanding bikes, and we have the pleasure of riding them on the street and on the track. So hopefully we can do these bikes some justice.
So we managed to find a road here in Southern California, believe it or not. And what we've learned so far is that European bikes tend to be more red than Japanese bikes. Jokes aside, historically, they're just harder to live with, really. Is that accurate?
They look like race bikes, they sound like race bikes, and they ride like race bikes. These things are pretty hard edge. They've got abrupt throttle response, they've got tremendous brakes, and they've got stiff suspension so you can feel every little bump in the road. They're not the best street bikes, but we're here on the street to see how they behave, to see which one's the easiest to live with on a day-to-day basis.
The RSV4, we're big fans of it because it's compact. Once you get it up in the RPMs anyway, it's got a lot of power, but it's geared pretty tall, doesn't have a lot of bottom end power.
It's geared crazy tall, yeah. Which we all agree on, right? Absolutely. Yeah.
The faster you go, the better it feels. There's a reason it won 2 years in a row.
Right, that's right. Turning champion now. Yeah. Matt, you're a fan of Ducati, yeah?
I love the Duck.
Yeah.
The styling is all futuristic and sexy looking. I love what they did. A little bit of the mid-range is gone in the motor.
Yeah, don't you think it's incredible that they made a 1200cc V-twin that doesn't make torque? Isn't that?
You got to rev it up a little to get there.
Yeah.
You know, above 8,000 RPM, it starts to come alive and get exciting.
Enjoyable day on the street, and we learned a lot. And I dare say some of us are falling in love a little bit.
We burned a lot of gas today. All the test riders got the chance to ride each bike up and down the canyon a few times.
Yes, indeed.
And some opinions kind of came to the surface.
Agreed. And your favorite is the Aprilia, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Aprilia. I'm a smaller guy. It's a smaller bike. It's really compact. It fits me well.
The surprise of the day has to be the MV. Yeah?
True. Yeah, I'd agree. It's pretty dated design. It's the biggest bike here. It's the heaviest bike here, but it certainly doesn't handle that way. It turns really well. It feels pretty light from the cockpit. And as soon as you twist the throttle, you kind of fall in love because the thing just sounds fantastic. It sounds like a Formula One car. It's unreal.
The much anticipated Panigale.
Yeah, all new bike from the ground up. Ducatis are kind of known for being uncompromising and uncomfortable. And this one, as expected, has a hard seat, a lot of engine heat. Clip-ons put a lot of pressure on your wrists. All things we kind of expected to have from it. What is new is the size. It's a lot more compact than it has been before, which makes it pretty easy to ride.
All that being said, if we had to pick a street bike of these four and never take it to a racetrack, we'd all have the BMW. I mean, heated grips, great electronics, screamer of a motor, comfortable, good on the highway. It really is a great all-around sport bike if you're never going to go to a racetrack.
Yeah, all very important points when you're going to be riding a motorcycle on the street, on the freeway, around town.
That being said, time to go to the racetrack.
Yeah, everything could change tomorrow when we get these things with some sticky tires on them and head to the track. So we're going to go to Chuckwalla and ride them fast and see what happens there. As with the Japanese bikes, we took the Italian machines out to the quarter mile to test their straight line performance. The MV Agusta suffered from the most bizarre clutch engagement we've ever experienced, yet it still covered the quarter mile in 10.73 seconds at 138.51 miles per hour. The new Panigale proved to be one of the easiest Ducatis we've ever sent down the quarter mile. It covered the distance in 10.26 seconds at 141.79 miles per hour. Just in front of the Ducati was Aprilia's RSV4, which went down the drag strip at 10.23 seconds at 142.27 miles per hour. In the end, nothing could touch BMW's big dog S1000RR. A consistent clutch and outrageous horsepower helped it post a time of 9.95 seconds at 148.32 miles per hour. The drag strip's a great place to assess outright acceleration, but in order to see how they handle, we have to ride them on the racetrack.
The way these motorcycles get away with being sort of hot, unruly, uncomfortable street bikes is by saying that they're bred for the track.
Yeah, these bikes are capable of so much more than you could ever get away with on the street. So we came here to the track to let them loose in an environment with no speed limits and no cops to really see what they can do.
We're halfway through our time at the track here, and we haven't really made a decision about what bike is going to win, but we have learned some things so far.
We're still impressed with the MV Agusta. That Corsa Quarter motor is just really impressive with terrific power, but it's got kind of some steps at 10,000 and 12,000 RPM that make it a bit of a challenge to really get on the power coming off corners. And it is bigger, which you can feel when you're transitioning. The BMW is bigger as well. It's one of the heavier bikes here, it's one of the larger bikes here, but that kind of translates to stability on the track, and while it takes more effort to turn, the little chassis changes that they made from last year, it's so much easier to get through corners than it was before. The electronics package on that, like you were saying before, is it functions very well. Might have been groundbreaking 5 years ago, but now it's just adequate. When you compare it to stuff like the Aprilia's, which is adjustable on the fly, and the Ducati system.
Yeah, the Ducati system is groundbreaking now. Adjustable suspension, traction control, data analyzing, all kinds of stuff.
We still haven't figured out a winner, so we got to get back on the track and figure this out.
Agreed. Not to mention standing in the desert and riding gear. Well, it sucks, really.
This concludes part 2 of our Class of 2012 competition.
That's right, sad but true. We rode these bikes on the street, we launched them down the drag strip, and if it looks like we fell down a flight of stairs, it's because these bikes whipped us stupid on the racetrack.
They're pretty exhausting to ride at speed, but all the testing we did, including the track time, helped us pick a winner.
Finally have a winner.
The MV Agusta really wasn't even a factor on the racetrack. It was several seconds off pace, and the layered engine characteristics was really frustrating for all our testers.
Yeah, agreed. Frustrating clutch at the drag strip, frustrating ergonomics on the street, frustrating engine dynamic on the track. It seems like it's sort of time for a change at MV Agusta.
Yeah, that bike's due for an update.
Ducati and Aprilia were neck and neck on the track, neck and neck in the drag strip, and really neck and neck on the street for all intents and purposes.
True, the Ducati is undeniably impressive in so many ways, but it's really difficult to ride. It kind of feels like they might have released that bike a little early, like it's not quite finished yet.
Everyone knows we love the Aprilia because it's won 2 years in a row now, but Ducati takes second place just on wow factor, really. I mean, the color dash is just the tip of the iceberg with the Ducati.
And that leaves the first place spot, which is going to be filled by BMW's S1000RR. It was comfortable on the street, incredibly fast on the drag strip, and unbelievably potent on the racetrack.
That's right. And don't forget, it's thousands and thousands of dollars cheaper than the next closest bike. With all the different engine designs in Europe, ironically, BMW's S1000 Inline 4 was the best Europe had to offer, which is in line with what came out of Japan.
Yeah, the ZX-10 won our Japanese shootout, and putting it up against the BMW, it still came out ahead. It was faster on the track, it's cheaper, it is easier to ride faster, and it's still got impressive electronics, although not as much as the BMW.
Yeah, agreed. The electronics are good on both bikes. Really, it was the street where the BMW shone brightest.
Yeah, it was comfortable, and we can't forget the fact that it's got heated grips.
Loves me some heated grips.
That concludes our test for this year. Come back next year to join us for Class of 2013.